G'day, thanks for clicking on another video. Welcome to part 2 of 3 days on a river. The reason for the part 2 is because it was really getting a bit long for one episode, and even though I'd cut a lot of stuff out due to just not very good footage, low light conditions, not used to the camera, I also lost stuff due to a faulty card. In any case, it still ended up being what I consider to be a bit too long, so I'm cutting into 2 parts. So this is part 2. I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Thanks very much. The landing here isn't as bad as I first thought. It was quite dark, or shaded over here late in the afternoon when I arrived, but in the morning with the sun on it, you can see there's actually a shallow spot to stand. You haven't got to climb out onto the bank. You've actually got probably 1.5 meters before it drops off. It's not as bad as I first thought. Anyway, it's a bit too late in the day to fish now, so I'm just going to veg for the day and fiddle around with a few things. Just enjoy being where I am. I've normally only turned the phone on because there's just enough signal to get a message to the wife to say that I'm okay, but I've actually had enough signal to get on Facebook and post a couple of photographs. I've got to stop doing that, otherwise the phone's not going to last the 3 days, and I didn't bring a charge cord for it. Well, one of the things I forgot to bring was drinking water. I had plenty of frozen water in the esky, which I've been using, but it takes a while to thaw out, and the more I use, the quicker the rest of it will melt, and the quicker I've got to use my fresh food. Anyway, we just had a nice downpour. Earlier I decided I got sick of my head rubbing on the tarp, so I jacked this end up a bit, and of course what happens? It rains. So the rain's blown in here a lot. Had to come from that direction, of course. Anyway, long story short, I collected some water. I was able to fill these 6 empties, so I'll be able to use those for tea and coffee. I've got a couple thawing out here to drink. Yeah, I'll have a drink of that shortly. So yeah, I use this to scoop it out of the pot and pour through the strainer into the bottle, so hopefully that's got most of the bits of twig and stuff out. So yeah, I put the tent on pretty much the flattest ground there was. I ended up tucking that reflective tarp underneath a bit. I'd say there is water under the tent in between the bottom of the tent and the ground sheet, but it doesn't appear to have come inside the tent as yet. That's something I meant to do earlier, was fold that in so it wasn't sticking out to collect water. What I could have done is set the tarp up diamond fashion and cover the entire tent. I still would have had plenty of room. Anyway, and the towel that it was drying out is not going to be dry now. Anyway, bit of water in the kayak. Go for a wander down the river. Some blue sky coming. That was a good shower of rain. It was good. I was glad I was able to top up the water a bit, because when you want to have a cup of tea and you've got to wait for water to thaw out, it takes a while, and in the meantime you're thirsty and you drink what's thawing out, and then you haven't got enough for a cup of tea. Fish will probably bite now. Yeah, so that's where I stole my sticks from my tripod. Does anybody know what that might be? What burrows and makes holes like that? Yeah, just drop a comment in the comments under the video if you know. I got a bit wet, but I got a quick dry shirt on. I do have a poncho with me, but I just didn't bother because I was in and out under the tarp. This is such a stunning place. I love it. Oh, this awesome tree. It's quite a big tree. And that's lying down. So at some stage the ground's got too wet for it and the wind's picked up or something. Quite a sizable trunk on it. Huh. And it looks like whoever was making the bushcraft shelter on the other side has possibly tried doing something here as well. Both places would be prone to collect water. Anyway, that is an awesome tree and it's still growing. It's been down for quite a while, it's still growing. Just got a little 5-inch jerk shed on. Texas red, what is it? Snapback. I had a pink Z-Man on earlier, but nothing wanted it. Anyway, I think I'm just going to have a simple dinner tonight. I'm going to go back. Oh, here I am, back at camp. I think I'm just going to dry off, get changed, and just have soup for dinner. So, just heat it up in the pot and eat it out of the pot. Oh, come here. Call it a night. So I am getting rather cool. Well, I'm dry. Had to change of clothes, dried off, got eaten by mosquitoes while I was getting changed. They're pretty savage. So this little bag that lives in my backpack, in the bottom there's a sachet of ready-made soup. And I'm not going to muck around today, I'm not going to have a mistake. I'm just going to heat this soup up. Vegetable soup with pearl barley. It's not bad. You can read that or not, enough light, but anyway, that's it. But first, harvest a bit more rainwater. And filter all the dirt out of it. Man, did I get soaked. It rained and it rained. I only got one fish to show for it. Excuse me while I go and tip some water in here. That gives me another litre, whoops, kicking everything over. That gives me another litre of drinking water, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 350ml bottles I filled up earlier. So that rainwater made a nice cup of tea earlier. Okay. Now the trouble is I've got to tip half this water. Oh, hang on, let's, before I throw that out. Let's fill that one up too. Alright, so that's plenty of water there for another couple of cups of tea. There's quite a bit of water in here when I got back. I had to dig a little trench. There was just down here on the floor. Well, you probably can't see it from where you are. The camera's angled up a bit too high, I think. Anyway, now I might just duck down the river and give this a wash. Okay, as you can probably hear, it's pouring. Well, it's not pouring, it just sounds like it in here. But anyway, I had some soup. Didn't taste as good as the last one I had. I'm wondering, maybe it was past its use-by date, but being in a sealed bag, it's probably full of preservatives as well, so who knows. We'll see what happens. I'm a bit dubious about how waterproof the bottom of this tent is. There's water under it, in between the ground sheet and the tent. Anyway, I've got the other Canon battery on charge. Have to use my phone intermittently because I forgot to bring the charge cord for that. So I'll put that away when it's finished charging. And now I'm just going to lie here and maybe read a book for a while. So I'll see you in the morning. Cheerio.
Well, good morning. I went to bed about 7:30 because there's nothing else to do. It's now 1:30. I've had plenty of sleep. It's too early to get up, but I thought, stuff it, I'm going to have a cup of tea. No shortage of water now. All the water I brought with me was frozen in the esky. I didn't bring any fresh for drinking. So I've had to wait for water to thaw out to drink it. But after the rain, I managed to refill a few bottles and just filtered it through a what do you call it? A bandana. So I think I'll leave that full. It's been raining on and off most of the night. I think I'll check the weather later, but I've got more dry underwear and dry socks and another dry top. I don't have any more dry shorts. Got a pair of I have dry tracksuit pants, but I don't want to be wearing those in the kayak, especially if it rains, and especially if I fall out, which is highly unlikely, but you know, things happen. Oh, bit of a headache this morning. So yeah, it's been good to get away and have a bit of a fish and a bit of a camp, but yeah, it's a shame the rain has spoiled things a bit. I'm glad I bought the bigger tarp. Had to do a little bit of trenching here and there to divert some water. Sorry if I don't sound too cheerful, but as I said, it's 1:30 in the morning. Sheer desperation to relieve myself that drove me out of bed, that was all. I haven't heard anything creeping around camp last night, but I guess that was mostly because of the rain and I had the second flap shut. Maybe the rain keeps everybody indoors. Oh yeah. I've got stuff hanging up to dry, but I doubt it's going to dry. At the moment it's just in the way and still soaked. else to talk about at the moment, and your view is pretty boring from the looks of it. Watching me make a cup of tea. I'll get back to you later in the morning. Good morning again. The kookaburra started up, so it must be after 4 o'clock. But we just sit here and listen to the birds for a while I pack a few things up and have a cup of tea. Interesting fact that the whipbird that just called, that's the male. When you hear the chirp chirp at the end of it, that's the female answering. Oh, so there's a male over there got answered, but this fella here is not getting an answer. Nobody loves him. I planned on having a ham and salad wrap every day for lunch. Yesterday lunchtime I just had a muesli bar, I wasn't very hungry. And wraps were one of the things I forgot to get out of the fridge. Probably mentioned that already. I've got a terrible memory, so I say things over and over. So I bought the dehydrated, freeze-dried food and a whole swag of muesli bars. I've had one muesli bar. Haven't even used all my fresh food yet because I didn't feel like messing around with steak last night. I just wanted to get dry, get changed. So I just had packet soup, which did not taste near as good as the first one of those I had, and I suspect it might have been out of date, but you get that. And I forgot to put that bandana back in. There's other things you can use these bandanas for. They're not the big 1 metre bandanas. I couldn't get any of those. These are just like a maybe 50 by 50 centimetre. You can chop them up and make char cloth. If you're a non-bushcraft type person, some of my friends on Facebook watch my videos, but they're not into bushcraft themselves. If you don't know what char cloth is, Google, my friend, Google. Oh. So that's another little bushcraft project I was thinking of doing, using some lengths of rope. It was a little project I saw on Coal Cracker Bushcraft. One of the video people I watch, and there's a fella from Pennsylvania. They're basically making one of these tripod stools, but you can make it taller and wider. Of course, the longer the legs, when you spread it out, you get a wider base and a wider top, so it's a bit more stable as well. You make 3 half-metre loops, like a loop, completed loop, half-metre long. You lash your 3 posts together, legs together, and when you spread them out, you put one of these 50 centimetre loops over one leg, twist it 3 or 4 times, put it over the other leg, and you do that between all legs. And then you get some thinner sticks and open up where the rope's twisted, feed the sticks through. And that gives you a base to sit on. Plus I've got this chunk of foam I could put on it, or a towel. There's a couple of things I could use. But yeah, because I have a bad hip and knees, you've probably seen me on video struggling to get up and get down. So a taller seat would be much better. So if I decide to stay an extra day, or not extra day, but if I decide to stay as long as I planned, I might make that up today. But I'm seriously thinking I might just pack up and go this morning. I've decided the hell was that? I think a branch just fell down. I've decided I'm going to pack up and go home and cut it a day short. Fishing wise, well, one small one landed, one marginally better lost. Last time I was up here with a mate, we were here 4 days, and it really didn't turn it on until there was like one particular day it really turned it on for us. The rest of it was pretty average. So yeah, I can't really blame the fishing. I never claimed to be a fabulous fisherman anyway, so too lazy to change lures often enough to try new things, and I'll just throw something on and just keep throwing it. I'm a bit lazy that way. Anyway, I ended up with 2 rods set up and different lures on each, so I'll just put a different lure on this morning that I'll try on the way back. I haven't used it before. It's one of the Z-Man range. I've had it for a while but haven't used it. Yeah, so the whole packing up thing could take a while when you've got this much gear. So I'll see how I feel when I get back to Harry's hut. I might stop there and cook up a feed. I'm not going to bother with anything this morning. I'm feeling particularly lazy. But hey, I'm on holidays, so does it really matter? All the dirt that gets splashed up from the rain. The good thing about camping in a four-wheel drive, you have tables and stuff. Keep everything up off the ground, and this sort of camping, of course, this is just one of those things you have to put up with. This needs a good clean out with some hot soapy water, it's all greasy. So anyway, rather than subject you to however long this takes to pack up, I'm going to put this camera away because it needs to go into the Pelican box, waterproof Pelican box, before it goes on the kayak. So I'll put this away and shit, pardon my French. Yeah, if I when I get back to Harry's hut, I'll get the camera out again, show you around Harry's hut a bit, and see where we go from there. I might have some lunch there. Certainly don't feel like breakfast. Anyway, toodaloo.
Well, good morning again. Oh crap. Yeah, so I'm packed up. I'm heading back to Harry's hut. Just got rained on again. You wouldn't think so now. So for those of you that haven't been here, I'll give you a little view down the river. Don't know how much memory card's left on this. The battery's full. Probably not a lot of card left. But this place is just stunning. Another thing on the list of things I forgot was my migraine medication. I got a headache this morning. It's hopefully won't develop into a migraine, but I decided to cut it a day short, as I mentioned before. So I'll head back to Harry's hut and see how I feel when I get there. I might have some lunch before I go, or I might just drive straight home. So in case I don't talk to you again, cheerio. Glad you watched the video. Hope you liked my ramblings, or didn't drive you too batty. Anyway, enjoy the scenery. You can see how fast the bank's going by. I'm doing a moderate paddle in my Hobie kayak. I could go faster, but this is a lot more comfortable and a lot faster than one person paddling a canoe. And your legs are the strongest part of your body, as in like compared to your arms anyway. Give you an idea how fast I'm going. Let's see how fast my feet are moving on the pedals. And there's the bank. Now I'm going to go a little bit wider here. Hopefully we'll get it on video before it takes off. There is some sort of predatory bird, some sort of sea eagle or something in this tree over here. Hopefully he's brave and just stays there until we get a closer look. And to be just my luck, he wouldn't move, and then the battery would die or the card would run out. Oh, there he goes. Brown with a white belly, white tail, black wingtips. Anybody can tell me what that is? See if we can get another look at him. He's a bit higher up now, but he just went to the next tree. Nice looking bird. Osprey maybe, I don't know. Oh, there he goes again. I don't think we're going to get any closer. He's not going to let us. Yeah, sorry about the wind. If you're getting the wind, I'll speak up a bit. Got a bit of a headwind. That might be better. And then you get the sun instead. Yeah, he's probably going to take off again. Every time I go under the tree he's on, he takes off and goes to the next one. But yeah, anyway, when I get to camp 5, I know I've done 5 kilometres. Then there's a, I think it's a 1.7, a 1 and a 1 or something. I can't remember. Oh, there he goes, he's gone to the next tree now. Some really gnarly looking trees here. He was just in this tree here. Now he's gone to that next tree up there. I don't know if you can hear the birds over the wind or not. So I'll pedal a little bit faster. I can pedal faster, get a little bit more speed up, but it's how much speed, how much can you maintain over long distance is the thing. But even into a headwind, as long as I'm pedaling, I'm making forward momentum against the wind. I haven't bothered with fishing much. I've had a few, flicked the lure at a few snags here and there. Just between Camp 5, put you out in the sun again, between Camp 5 and 4, just before Camp 4 going this way, there's a heap of snags, fallen trees and whatever. I'll have a flick there for a few minutes, but it's really a bit too late in the day. I left camp at about 10 o'clock, so it's really a bit too late in the day. Dusk and dawn seem to be the best on this river. For an amateur like me, they do anyway. Anyway, cheerio. There's a fairly sharp left-hand turn in the river here. I want to go straight ahead and show you this. There's a few places along the bank of the river where the bank is eroded into a cliff of sorts, and there are holes burrowed in the cliffs. Now my guess is swallows, but I've seen nothing flying in or out. If you have any suggestions, just throw them in the comments please, because I am curious to know. I don't know if you can get close enough to see the holes. See, it's a bit warm in the sun when you get out of the wind. I'll see if I can find something a bit closer. One up there, what a decent hole. I reckon this side of the river would be quite deep, because when there's a big flow from rain, it'd scour this side out pretty well. One of the other banks I saw, there were heaps of holes. This one's hardly got any. I should be throwing a lure along this bank. It's shaded. Could be some fish there. Strange, I find a good bank to show you and there's only 2 or 3 holes in it. I'll try and find another one. Oh, this is campsite 4. They used to have quite a few metres more sand out here. Quite a sandy beach, and then it dropped off. I'd say that last rain event probably washed a fair bit away. That campsite, you've got to walk up into the bush a little bit, and there's an area that's fenced off with coppice logs, like you can see just up near the sign. So yeah, the beach here has diminished quite a bit. There was enough sand here you could have pitched a tent on it, even though you're not supposed to. And from memory, when I had my sounder on the kayak, the other side there was about 30 foot deep. After I turned that bend, I had the wind behind me for a while, but I've just turned another bend and there's another one coming up, so I'll probably have it in my face again. Well, that's me. I'm loaded. I'm going home. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.